There are more homes for sale in Yakima County right now than we have seen in years, but they are taking longer to sell and interest rates are not dropping anytime soon. So if you're thinking about buying or selling here, today's numbers change how you should be playing this situation. So, hello, I'm Corie Burke, your Yakima real estate expert here in Yakima County, Washington. This is where I come every single month to break down the market, so you don't have to get lost in the headlines and the drama. This is where we talk about real market statistics and why they actually matter. So just a quick preview of some of the things we're going to be going over today and why you should stick around is we're going to talk about what the Fed just did with rates and why it really matters if you're kind of on the fence, why home builders are handing out incentives like crazy right now, and what our own Upper Valley numbers say about things like inventory, pricing, and how long homes are actually taking to sell. So first, the Fed held rates steady. On July 29th, the Fed voted to hold rates steady for the fifth meeting in a row. A few members actually wanted even to raise rates, not cut them, because inflation still isn't cooling off. And mortgage rates are sitting in the mid sixes to high sixes, and forecasters like Fannie Mae and the MBA expect them to stay around 6.4 to 6.5% throughout the rest of the year. It's not a crash, and there's not a big drop coming that we are expecting on the forecast. So if you're financially ready to buy and you're in a good spot personally, waiting around for rates to drop is not looking like it's going to pay off. The case for acting right now instead of waiting for someday is really getting stronger. And that's really not the only thing giving buyers leverage right now. Builders are feeling it too. Home builders are getting aggressive with incentives. And if home builders, these people who have all of this money and do this for a living, are feeling pressure, can you imagine what regular sellers are feeling like? With the rates elevated, builders are sitting on inventory, and that is expensive for them. And they are competing hard, not usually with straight price cuts, but with things like incentives. They're doing rate buy downs, upgrades for no money, and closing costs being covered. In June, I was actually able to help a buyer client negotiate with a builder here on this side of the state. Not much movement on the price itself, but we got closing costs covered, which isn't something that you can usually count on in a builder deal. Normally with a builder, you get a preemptive negotiation, builders offering incentives up front instead of haggling. In this case, we were able to actually increase the price a little bit, ask for more closing costs, which really helped my buyer out. So now let's bring it on back home and see how Yakima County's own numbers stack up against all of that national news. First things first, inventory is way up. Active listings are up 23% from a year ago. We ended July with 706 listings versus 574 July of last year. The months of inventory has climbed from 3.2 to 3.8 just between early July and now. And it's up from 3.81 to 4.45 months of inventory compared to a year ago. Another thing that's happening is that deals are taking longer and they are harder to get to the closing table. Average days on market right now is 85 this July versus 75 a year ago. Pending listings dropped from 168 to 140 in the last month alone and are down 8% from a year ago. So more homes on the market, but fewer people getting into contract. Prices are still holding up, though. We're not seeing it affect the prices. We're basically seeing it kind of stagnate. Median sales price is up 3.35% from a year ago, up to $390. And the average sales price came in at $450,000 this week compared to $446,000 a month ago. But month to month, you don't want to look at that too hard. So the story we are seeing here is that there's more to choose from. Things are slower to get to the finish line, harder to get to the finish line. Prices haven't cracked. And the same trend we talked about last month, it's just feeling a lot more pronounced now. And with going into the fall months, we're seeing a lot of people start to pull back because they don't want to be moving during the school year. So what does this actually mean if you are buying or selling here in Yakima County right now? Deals are harder to get across the finish line. Financing is tougher with rates being where they're at, and buyers are doing a lot more homework prep work before they even write an offer, more thorough inspections, and more comparison shopping. Buyers are looking for any edge they can get because it's really hard to even just qualify for a house, let alone one that you actually want right now. And that can be frustrating for sellers, but it's what buyers need to do right now just to stay competitive with how expensive housing has gotten. For move up and downsizing sellers, this is the trickiest position you can be in right now. You have to sell and buy at the same time. So you're negotiating a new purchase while you've already given ground on your own sale. It takes more balancing than it used to. The good news is you're more likely to get your offer accepted on the new house right now than you have been in the past few years. And with a skilled agent, you can navigate all of that balancing act. For first-time homebuyers, this is one of the strongest negotiating positions first-time homebuyers have had in years, arguably the best since 2021. Why is that? Affordability is so stretched that there is simply less competition. So the buyers who can still qualify and are still in a position to buy are in a stronger spot, and sellers are feeling that pressure, especially depending on the type of house and the price point. Nice thing also about being a first-time homebuyer is they don't also have a home to sell, so they can write non-contingent offers and take their time finding the right house instead of rushing. So if you are thinking about buying or selling and you want help building a game plan, reach out to me. You can find me at corieburke@gmail.com or the contact info in the description below. So tell me, are you buying, selling, or just watching the market right now? All are okay, but drop it in the comments. I want to hear where everyone's at. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or stick around because YouTube thinks that you might like this video right here. See you in the next one.